If you want to continue learning about counselling and do some training, what are your options? Well, a lot of people tend to ask, well, what qualification do I need to become a counsellor? And that training requirement depends on your locality, so what country you're in. In the UK, counselling is unregulated. So you actually legally don't need any qualifications to start calling yourself a counsellor or a psychotherapist. You could do that right now. Whether you would want to do that, probably not, because it would be unethical to pretend that you're something that you don't have any training in, but legally there are no barriers to that. That's different from other countries such as Germany, where there is some professional registration. And as we talked about earlier, if you want to use certain titles such as clinical psychologist, counselling psychologist, then those are protected titles and you would need to do certain qualifications to register with the HCPC, the Health and Care Professions Council. So if there is no official regulation of the profession, then what training should you get? Well, there are a number of professional bodies that accredit courses. So you could go do a degree, or you could go do a more practical course at a local college. And these are probably accredited by a professional body such as the British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy, BACP, the UKCP, the UK Council for Psychotherapy, the National Counselling Society, or the British Association for Behavioural and Cognitive Psychotherapies. Now, so these programs are delivered by a university or by a college, and typically you'd be studying for 1 to 4 years, full or part-time, probably with about 450 hours of teaching and 100 hours of supervised placement. So that means you practicing doing therapy on real clients as part of your training and undertaking some personal therapy as well. Most professional bodies require you to go through counselling as a client so that you understand yourself better and you understand what the process looks like. Now, you don't have to register with any of these bodies, but they at least set a good high quality standard for what training you should be doing before you start advertising and working as a counsellor. And many employers would be looking for being a member or accreditation from one of these professional bodies. So that's when people talk about becoming a qualified counsellor, typically they're talking about meeting the entry requirements to join one of these professional bodies. Now, again, as we discussed earlier, you might want to go down the psychology track and become what's called a practitioner psychologist. So this is a counselling psychologist or a clinical psychologist, and these are protected titles, so you can only do this if you have a doctorate level qualification in that. And the way you would get that is you would do a bachelor's degree or a master's degree that's approved by the British Psychological Society, and you would earn what's called your graduate basis for chartership, and then you would do a 3-year full-time doctorate to get to become a counselling psychologist and clinical psychologist, at which point you could register with the HCPC. So what are your next steps from here? Well, some of the courses, if you were to go down the counselling route and take on one of the professional body qualifications, they may let you apply directly. So you could find a university degree or a local college where you could do, they would typically be called a level 4 qualification. Others may want you to complete a lower level qualification before they will allow you to apply. So you could go off and do a lower level qualification, maybe some more introductory courses or shorter courses on counselling, so that you have those fundamental skills before you go off and then apply for a longer course. It's a great way to test out your interest in counselling a bit further and see if it's something you really want to pursue. Or you could also gain some experience by volunteering with organisations like Samaritans or Cruise, so that you can build up a bit of real world experience, see if counselling's for you, and again that will look great on any applications to any courses that you then proceed on to.